Well, kids, here we are, Tuesday, April 22nd. Uh, Yesterday, we went over some specifics on severe weather, um, like how does lightning form, how does thunder form, what are the dangers of hail and flash flooding and straight line wind, those kinds of things. Um, as you can see, I'm on page 10 today of that severe weather information packet that I sent you. Honestly, today I'm not going to be doing a ton from this packet. I'm going to be bouncing around to some other resources that I have for you. Today is going to be about making a plan. The last couple of days have been about let's get some information about things, let's become more knowledgeable on them. By the way, that's going to help tremendously with worry, right? The more knowledge we have about something, the less we need to worry about it. Today is about making a plan. All right. And we're going to talk specifically about tornadoes. Now, last Thursday was the statewide tornado safety drill day. Of course, we weren't in school, so we didn't have a chance to practice that. But it is hugely important for you to have a plan. So I'm going to just skim through this document here. Again, I'm on page 10, and then we're going to go to some other resources as we go. As this says, be prepared. It's up to you. You have to, know what the circumstances are, know what your options are at all times, and be prepared to make decisions based on that. All right. You have to practice your plan, right? It's one thing to have a plan. It is something totally different to actually practice the plan. So once you have the plan, give it a dry run every so often. Just make sure that you remember what the plan is, share it with others that you spend time with, whether it's at your home or somewhere else. All right. You have to understand the difference between watches and warnings. Again, we'll talk about tornadoes today. So a tornado watch means the conditions are right for a tornado. It does not mean there is a tornado. It just means, this is a possibility. All right. A tornado warning means that a tornado has been spotted. All right. Sometimes it's spotted just by looking at radar. Sometimes it's spotted by actual people with eyes on them. A tornado warning means there is a tornado. All right. So when you see that on the TV or you hear it on the radio or you get an alert on your phone, a warning means it's time to move. All right. A tornado is happening. Okay. Uh, some things to do and not do. Obviously, you need to be in a safe place, know the difference between a safe and an unsafe place. Get inside is always a safe bet, unless it's a tornado and your only inside choice is a mobile home, then you're going to have to make a different choice. But as far as lightning and hail and those kinds of things, inside is always the best choice. All right. And then we get into these tornado safety rules. And I'm going to show you some other resources too that can help us with tornado safety. And I'm going to ask you eventually to look at your specific place where you live and how you can be the safest you can possibly be there. Basically, making a plan for where you live. All right. So, as we quickly scroll over these tornado safety rules, the best place to be is underground, a basement, a safe room if that's not an option. You need to be in an interior room, something without windows, preferably. That's the next safest place. There is no safe place to be during a tornado if you're in a mobile home. All right, so you need to get to the shelter. You need to get outside to a low-lying area, those kinds of things. There are some other safety rules for flash floods. This goes into tornado safety. Let's not brush over that because floods kill the most people. All right. Flood safety is this: don't go in the water, ever. Don't walk through it. Don't drive through it. Don't even try to boat through it. If you've got fast moving floodwater, stay away. That's the safety. All right. Tornado safety in schools, we've pretty much got that under control. You can see an example down here in all of the classrooms. There is a tornado safety plan posted with arrows that show where you're supposed to go. We've started to go more in the hallway now, but the best places are obviously in the interior rooms, like the bathrooms at school. There might be some other storage rooms, those kinds of things. We want to get as close to the middle of the school as we can get and away from windows. We get in a nice position like this, we cover our heads. All right, that's from flying debris and those kinds of things because we have to protect our head and neck. All right. Having a weather radio is a great thing to have. The school definitely has one. I have one at home, but you all have things, most of you have things that work just like a weather radio, and it's one of these. All right, and I'm going to talk about some options that you should utilize for those. All right, now I want to look at a couple other documents, and I'm going to share this document with you today as well. This is from the Red Cross, which we've been utilizing a lot. It's a tornado safety checklist. And for every plan, there should be 3 parts. What are some things that I can do to prepare for a tornado today, like before one happens? All right, what can I do today for a tornado that might happen 6 months from now? What should you do if there is, so before a tornado, during a tornado, what should I do if a tornado is threatening? And then what do I do after a tornado has already gone through? All 3 of those scenarios need to be accounted for in your safety plan. For instance, before a tornado strikes, you can get yourself a weather radio. You can get the Red Cross Tornado Safety app on your phone. You can get AccuWeather or the Weather Channel or Weather Underground or Fox 11 Weather or some weather app on your phone that you can set it to notify you in the case of severe weather watches or warnings. All right, that's something you can do today. During a tornado, if I'm outside, I get in a low-lying area, or I get inside to the lowest level, or an interior room without windows, those kinds of parts of the plan. All right. And then after a tornado would strike, in that part of the plan is where you talk about things like stay away from down power lines, or make sure you have shoes on so as you're walking around, you don't step on broken glass and those kinds of things. All right. So this is a document that's going to help you think about what are some things to do before a tornado, during a tornado, after a tornado to stay safe. All right. Very much like our earthquake safety plan that we did earlier in the school year. All right. So I will share that with you, and I do expect you to look it over. But more important than that, I expect you to think about it in terms of your own place, where you spend the night, all right, or where you spend your days, or where you might go visit. I want you to think about what the plan would look like in those particular places. I want to touch on a couple other resources here too. This is the Red Cross Tornado app. I think I have it on your iPads. Check it out. I believe it's there. Whether it is or isn't makes no difference. If you have a cell phone, I want you to go on, either Google Play for Android or the App Store for an iPhone, and I want you to download the American Red Cross Tornado app. As you look at it, it not only tells you where watches and warnings are occurring in real time, it has a kind of a map here that also shows you, right, this is the area to be concerned about. And then it does have this kind of before, during, and after the tornado reminders of what to do and what not to do to stay safe. All right. So that is part of your homework. If you have a cell phone, this Red Cross app needs to be on there, Red Cross Tornado Safety. All right. By the way, there's lots of other cool Red Cross ones. Like I have a pet safety one on my phone in case I'm out with my dogs and something happens to one of them. And there are some others, just a regular first aid. which is on there as well. So I recommend getting some of those apps as well, and they're all free. The other part about preparedness is to have a reliable weather app that you use, that you know how to use. All right. And this is one that I have on my phone. It's AccuWeather. This thing sends me any severe thunderstorm watches or warnings. Lets me know how far away things are, how long before it's going to start to rain or before the thunderstorm hits, those kinds of things. So get a good weather app that you use, that you know how to use. And I'm going to show you the kinds of things that I do. Now, in Wisconsin right now, we don't have any weather going on, really. Of course, we have weather. We don't have any severe weather. So I'm going to zoom in down here in Georgia, moving into South Carolina. So when we look at this radar, we know that greens are rain, but yellows are heavier rain, and oranges are even heavier rain, and reds and purples, those are those really severe thunderstorms, downpours, and potential for tornadoes. All right, so let's say that I live in Orangeburg. I'm going to zoom in right here. Now I can't find Orangeburg, but I think it was somewhere right in here, so I got to zoom out. Yeah, Orangeburg right there. All right. So Orangeburg is right here where the cursor is. Now, how do I tell if I'm in danger? Because if I'm in Orangeburg right now, is it raining? Nope, sure isn't. Might even be blue skies, right? But when I use this app, and I specifically look at the radar, I can push play, and it shows me the direction that the storm is moving. All right, so you can see, remember Orangeburg is about right here, right? You can see that storm is moving directly towards Orangeburg. All right, so I only have, some amount of time, not very much it looks like, between now and then. By the way, I also look down here at the time. Like this is, I think, an hour of movement. So I'm going to stop it here. Actually, I'm going to put it back here. An hour of movement. So we go from this section right here. So it's just getting to Hephzibah, right? And an hour later, it has gotten to, all right, Williston. So it's traveled this distance in an hour. So I can utilize this distance and I can say, all right, well, in another hour, it's going to get almost all the way here to Santee. So I know, well, if I'm in Orangeburg, halfway in between, I got maybe like a half hour, right, before it starts to rain. And that's going to help me hopefully stay safe. There's also an option down below here to click on future. And so when I do that, it projects into the future kind of how this thing is going to move and maybe, about how hard it's going to be raining, those kinds of things. So that's another thing that you can use as well. I prefer to always look at the past and then push play and then figure out for myself, all right, which direction is this thing moving and what can I expect to happen here? So that's the second part. You need to have a good tornado safety app. You need to have a good weather app. You need to know all the stuff that I've been teaching you the last couple of days to stay safe. The other thing that I'm going to send you them is this, and this is your tornado safety plan. You need to do these 5 things, all right? And think about where you live. How safe is it? Where's a safe place to be if a tornado was happening? You need to prepare it. What can I do today? What can I do during? What can I do after? What should I not do in this particular location? And then, another hugely important part is to actually share that information with the people that you live with. And you can see down here at the bottom, typically I would have people sign this and bring it back to school. This just says, hey, I made a safety plan. I showed my parents. And I showed a brother, sister, a friend, somebody that comes to my house because I care about them. All right. we're not going to be able to do this part of it necessarily online, right? But I want you to do it, right? I want you to think about a plan. I want you to make a plan. I want you to talk about that plan with the adults in your life, with your siblings, and with your friends when they come over. All right, because I want you to show that you care about them, um, and that's going to really help them to care about you too, because they're going to know that you care for their safety and that you're prepared. All right, so there will be a few short questions on a quiz for today. There's nothing that's going to be expected to be written or turned in for your tornado safety plan. I am going to ask some very general questions about tornado safety and some different dwellings. So hopefully you're going to be thinking about all the different kinds of dwellings. And I will see you tomorrow when we talk about Earth Day. 50th anniversary of Earth Day is tomorrow. All right, so we're going to talk about Earth Day tomorrow. Take a break from severe weather. With that, I will see you soon. Remember, email, Google Hangout, Google Meet. Get a hold of me if you have questions, and I'd be happy to help you. So until then, take care.